Welcome to Spiritual Changemakers, the podcast that guides you through tough times with practical tools and inspiring stories. I'm Andreea Thomas, your host and the Sacred Transitions Coach. Join us as we hear from spiritual changemakers who have connected with their higher power and overcame adversity. Whether you are navigating a difficult transition or seeking to deepen your spiritual practice, our podcast provides guidance to help you find magic in the change. Come on this journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and transformation with us and unlock your potential to become your best self.
Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to a new podcast episode on Spiritual Changemakers. Today we have a very, very special guest, my dear Joy, that we have known each other for so many years. Oh my God. I don't even know, probably 8 years, 8 years. It's been a long
For
time.
sure. I know I for certain met you in person in 2020, but is that where I met you for the very first time?
Yes, that's where we met the first time. And then just the universe brought us together.
It did, absolutely. So many times in so many ways.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here with you today to have a beautiful conversation and to share more of your amazing gifts with the world. And I would love for you to introduce yourself, Joy. Like, what is it that you do? And how did you get to be on this path?
Well, it's really been a fascinating journey. And I suppose that physical, mental, emotional pain is what actually brought me on this journey. So it's such a gift when we realize that that's, life is not actually happening to us. It's happening for us and through us. But I knew that I wanted to be a mom, and that was like the best thing. And it was late in life. And it was also, I had kissed a lot of frogs before I met my beautiful soulmate 34 years ago. And life changed actually for both of us that day. And it's a magical story, but that's not what this story is about. Because, truthfully, he did help me heal a lot from some of the relationship and trauma of relationships, or trauma of not relationships that, I did have some sexual abuse, just super random. But anyway, after 14 years of kissing frogs, I met this beautiful man. And we had 2 beautiful daughters very soon. Like, we fell in love in a week. We got married in 6 months. And 3 months later, we had our first daughter.
That was fast.
Yeah. It really did disturb his family a little bit, and even my brother. But I said, guys, I'm not marrying him because I'm pregnant. I'm marrying him because I love him, and I want the wedding in my dreams. And it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter whether it's 5 months or 3 months. It's going to be beautiful. That's what we're going to do. So that's what we did. But as life went on, beautiful girls grew up, went to college. When they went to college, I went back to college because I wanted to finish my degree. And it was fascinating. During that time, we had been through quite a few business losses and failures, both Doak and I. And in this business course that I was taking, you were supposed to actually deeply relive every business failure or loss that you had ever been through. And that, accompanied by the fact that I was taking care of both of my parents for 10 years and that had just started, and they were both in real physical trouble. Daughters were gone, and I was reliving all this trauma. And honestly, what happened is I got this kind of a panic choker, and every night, just out of the blue, I would wake up about 2 o'clock in the morning and literally with every sign of a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I know I'm not having a heart attack. My heart rate stable. I even have low blood pressure. I mean, not low, but it's like, I had a great pulse rate, and my
Mm-hmm.
heart, I was like usually about 111 over 62 to 80, somewhere 62 to 70. Sorry. And so all of that was good. And so I knew that this was something else. And I would call Doe, who's driven 5 million miles in his truck. He wasn't home much. I was a very happily married single mom. And I would call him to say, I don't know what this is, but I don't want to call an ambulance, and I don't want to go drive myself to the ER. I think it's emotional. And can I just talk to you? Can I just talk to you for a while? And I remember thinking, man, if I could just figure out a way to let go of this emotional trauma, I think I'd be okay, Anyway, I went to the doctor, and he just like, oh, you've got PTSD and anxiety attacks, and just put me on a medication, which was an antidepressant. But what you have to know is that my business life had become holistic health and nutrition. So being on medication was
Was
not
not
it
aligned.
was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, listen, I will take these for 2 weeks because I do have to sleep and not have this happening, but I will not stay on these, and I will find an alternative. So that really was the start of my search. And first I went to integrative medicine and found
Mm-hmm.
doctors, Steven Sinatra, great. And it was all online. I could find everything. So I started doing more meditation, more guided meditation, and changed my supplements a little bit because my body needed something different. And that really was perimenopause and menopause coming on.
The
Really,
symptoms
that's
that you're experiencing.
all of it together. All of it together.
And
The
how
taking care of
long
my
ago
parents.
was that?
I was 54 and then 57. And my mom died when I was 57. So I had taken care of my parents for 10 years. Um, and well, actually 7 before she died, and then 10 when my dad died. And that was, that's such a sacred time. It's a hard time, but I am very blessed to have had beautiful parents. And we did a lot of exploring we had a company that they started in when I was 13, and they allowed me to become in it. And it was called Dare to Be Great. It was everything. It was everything. I just was like, this is everything. This is all I ever need, And then, the government was shutting that business down because they didn't like that. And it was, it was considered a non-tangible product, because it was motivational courses teaching people to believe in
Wow.
themselves.
So you have actually been in that world from a very young age,
Many
which
years.
yeah.
My parents actually taught Dare to Be. Sorry, not Dare to Be Great. My parents taught Dale Carnegie courses when I was 5.
Wow.
So from a very young
So you're
age, yeah.
exposed to those kind of things from a very young age. And just to give people a little bit of a context, because you went into the story, but telling them how you got where you are today, it's because you are.
You just went out.
It's
Oh, okay.
because right now you are an energy healer. No, you work with energy and emotion, body code, and so on. So just to give people the context of how you got to be an
Yes.
energy healer.
Well, that was the very next thing. Once, so I worked with just meditation, but I was really on a mission and a path. And then I got scammed very severely, and I had horrible bosses, and all of this was all happening at the same time.
You got scammed.
Yeah. Online, actually on Facebook. I joined a company, and I'm not going to name any names, but it kind of didn't give you enough information, and I needed better marketing. So I joined this other kind of rogue affiliate guy. And very soon, he had a private Facebook group, and he had like laser things coming out of his eyes, and he would, publicly spank people in the group. And I didn't know he was doing that at first. I just thought he was teaching good things. Kind of guerrilla marketing is what he called it. And I was like, oh, that doesn't feel like I need to be here. And but I had just applied for a job with him. And one of the things that happened during that is it fried my computer. So everything, all of my stuff was gone. 13 years of financial records, like everything was gone. And he's like, oh no, that's just an electrical impulse. It can't do that. I said, oh, it can. And it did. And he said, well, just get out your laptop. And the next thing I know, my laptop, is parked on a picture of me making a compliment in his group. And all of my contacts in my phone are gone, except for the ones from that group. So this is a phone and a computer and 2 computers. Okay. And it was crazy. It was crazy. And my daughter was leaving for France the very next day for her first travel abroad. And I just was like, and I finally figured out what was going on. And what was going on was his other business was selling identity theft protection insurance. And so his deal was to get you to learn all these things to protect yourself, but then he would, it was a strange deal, but it did very much affect me. And I didn't want to do what I had been doing. I was doing online YouTube videos years ago.
And now that has happened a long time ago, yeah? So
yes, long
so
time
when
ago.
you look back at it, were you able to draw the lessons out of it to look at, okay, this is why?
Absolutely. Because, well, for one thing, I figured it out. I figured out what was going on. And I actually did report him and got his group taken down. So that felt empowering. But in addition, then I actually went to Mind Valley and I took a meditation. I started long time ago in courses, 2017, January 1st, 2017. And through other miracles, I also found the emotion code, body code, belief code. And that was very much me setting an intention. Because this is kind of crazy, but I'll just tell you, when my mom died, I felt like I was going to do something for me that was between me and her. So I went to an astrologist that she had hired once before for me, and I got a year layout. And it was fascinating because it said that on October 21st, 2017, I was going to find the online business of my dreams. And I was like, whoo, good luck with that. Universe, you're going to have to help because I don't trust me anymore. And I want you to just drop it in my lap. That's how I'll know that it's what I'm supposed to do. And so amazing things happened. I hosted a deal for my dad to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the day he met my mom. And we did a little historical thing. My dad lived through the Dust Bowl days. He's a major rodeo person. And it worked out for him to be the distinguished pioneer that year, which brought a lot of family to town, which brought my brother to town. And that night, after the whole thing was over, there was this street dance, and he met a woman and married her 4 weeks later.
Wow.
He had dated her 35 years before. And my daughter, who lived in California, was the only one who got to go to that wedding. And she went and she said, Mom, I love Uncle Jay's wife, but you have to meet her cousin, because her cousin and you, she said, literally walking into her house is like walking into ours. I mean, I just feel like you need to meet. And lo and behold, 2 months later, we were on vacation in California, and Jay and his wife invited us to a brunch at her cousin's house. It was October 21st, 2017. And I told the girls and Doak that day, I said, today's supposed to be the day I find the business of my dreams. But I'm not going to take my computer. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to go to this family event and trust the universe. And we walked in, and immediately the women went to the kitchen to cook. The girls were in the car putting on makeup. The men were in the back. And the first thing that happened was Jay's wife said, "Joy, how are you keeping Daddy Hop in such good shape?" She said, "I mean, he's 90 and how?" And I said, "Well, he's had 2 broken hips and he comes home he's like on 35 or 42 prescription medications. And I just work with muscle testing and his doctor, and we shift him back to holistic health and nutrition. And that's what's working. And so once I get him off of certain medications, I put in different supplements, muscle test how much he needs each week, and I fill up his little box." And that was it. The cousin looked at me and said, "I have to show you something." And she stopped cooking and she went and showed me the emotion code and the body code. And oh my God, we talked for like 20 minutes, and all of a sudden I just was like the world stopped, And I was like, I'm going to do this.
Wow.
I'm going to do this. And I said, I tell you what, you just give me all this information. I'm going to buy the book and we got to get cooking. And that was it. That was how I found it. And it's been like that ever since. From that, I released my heart wall, which this is the only modality that helps you to release a heart wall, which is trapped emotions, which all have their own vibrational frequency. And they got trapped at different times in our lives based on trauma. And if we will go ahead and experience those emotions and ride them through, then they won't get trapped. But if we just, put on our big girl pants and move on with life and we don't pay attention and blah, 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 those get trapped and they vibrate at a different frequency than we do. So they create imbalances in our body, which is stress, disorder, disease. That's exactly what it is.
Shows up in many different ways, yeah.
But specifically a heart wall, our body, our subconscious mind in its brilliance knows how vital our heart is to our whole being. I think our heart is where our soul resides, and it's where we do all this communication from, and we get to live in heart consciousness. But when we have a heart wall, it literally takes those trapped emotions and moves those little imbalances and creates a barrier around your heart to protect it. So at some point in your life, when it is safe for your heart to not have a barrier anymore, it's a beautiful release to release the heart wall. And when I released my heart wall, my whole world changed.
Oh, wow.
I became this super talkative, outgoing, I've always been tremendous integrity and tremendous, I had to be honest, like I did, and it made my sister and brothers crazy. But now I have discernment as well. All of that happened when I released my heart wall. And again, when everything started opening up and I started getting really loud because I feel energy.
Yes.
And I had to decide whether or not I wanted anyone to see that,
To open yourself up to that.
I work online like this, only on Zoom. And I also work in person, but not as much in person. I work remote because energy travels the world over. So it works like that. But for the first time where you and I met, we were at this beautiful event and ambassadors got together and we just had a magnificent time. And I did 17 healing sessions during that 3-day packed event in the hallways, in the restaurants, in the bars, wherever anyone wanted one, I just did them. And it was astounding. And then I got this incredible Unity Award at the end of this thing. And yeah, just life is,
Yeah. And going back to the heart wall, what's coming up is like, how would people know right now that they have a heart wall? And then how do you know that you are ready to release it? Because I think you have to be ready now to release it.
Well, and our body, our subconscious mind and our entire energy body is brilliant and we can trust it. When it needs to continue to protect your heart, it won't actually tell you to do it now. It will have you do other things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the very first thing we ask. So the very first thing we ask is if we have permission to connect, because everyone is sacred and sovereign, and they have total control over their own energy field. Once they're in agreement that they want me to
connect.
enter
Mm-hmm.
and start feeling their energy, or just detecting it. By the way, I've been muscle testing for 28 years now, because I was in holistic health and nutrition before. And for me, it's a second language. It teaches me things. It gives me answers that I can possibly have any way to have. And that's the same with the intuition and just the downloads that we get from the universe,
Mm-hmm.
from this energetic connection. So a heart wall, some symptoms of a heart wall is, first of all, there are physical symptoms. Your shoulders and neck are tight. You may have a heart condition. Heartache and heartbreak are real. They're an emotion, but they're a very real thing happening that happens in your heart. You may have like a fascial distortion around your heart, which is like pericarditis. Those things come from emotional trauma that is trapped.
Mm-hmm.
The other ways that you can know is you just kind of feel a little bit like an outsider, and love messages kind of get muffled, and you just don't even hear things. This, like the way someone said something, you hear it differently because your perception is different, because you have this barrier that is kind of like a muffling wall.
So it's
Does that
like
make
the
sense?
protection, no? It's the unconscious
It is.
protection, and that's why would it happen that many times when you even receive compliments and so on, you are not able to receive them. When someone would tell you are
Yes.
so beautiful or you did so amazing, and then you kind of block it, or you don't believe it.
Yes, absolutely. All of that. And it's astonishing. So different people have different amounts of heart wall emotions, and you also can, by doing healing work, as you start releasing traumas and emotions, you are also being able to release your heart wall. But to be able to know it and release each one at a time, this is the only modality that I've come across that you can do that with. And it's fabulous to watch. I just live in miracles. I
Wow.
love
What
my work.
what comes up for me, it's also, I would love see how that feels for you too, but I would love to give people a short demo on something, on the
Sure.
on the energy work that you do, because I would love for people to feel you, to also taste your work, because Joy also has an amazing global heart healing community where she meets with beautiful souls every single week, no?
Every single week, yeah.
Yeah, so as
So
you hear her story, as you feel her, as you maybe gonna experience a little bit of see how her work is, I highly recommend for you to get in touch with her, go into her community that she has been pouring her heart into now for so many years, and it's just so beautiful.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I started actually with doing group heart wall healing sessions, which the way that the motion code body code is taught to be done individually. And they didn't think you could do group sessions. Like, oh, I know we can do group sessions for the heart wall healing. I know we can. And so I started that actually in early 2018. And then after that experience with you and everyone at Mind Valley Live LA 2020, I got so much download. And also, we were all in the middle of everything that was happening and the changing of the world and this transition that we're in. And I got so clear. Oh, I also became, after the first quest and the other 3 courses, I took Chakra Healing and became a Chakra Healing ambassador. And between healing the heart wall and the chakra healing, because I wanted a depth of understanding there, it was so impactful. And I took it 3 times, at least, maybe 4. But the third time through, I remember I was working with people who just, they weren't as in touch with their energy. And so it made finding the things more like a needle in a haystack, and frustrating for them, and a little frustrating for me. And I remember just praying, saying, so listen, universe, I don't think these people need what I do and the help I can provide. They don't need it less, they need it more. And I need a way to be able to help them more deeply. And I am asking for deeper intuition. That's what I'm asking. And I was asking for claircognizance, clairaudience, something simple. But no, I got clairsentient, clairempathy. So I feel deeply.
Yes.
And I don't just feel the emotions, I feel the different sensations of the emotions. It can be prickly pear feet. It's a lot of different things. It can be something like crunching your vertebrae and your root chakra. It's wild. And it's more language, more communication, more depth of understanding of what that felt like to the person at the time that it got trapped. And then I get to feel it move when we do the releases, because we are like beings. You guys, we can all move energy. We can all move our own energy. And then I feel the embodiment of the release. Not gonna lie, it feels like heaven. So yeah, on the heart wall, um, I just knew that we could do group
The group.
sessions. And then I knew that when I did a lot of Lynn McTaggart, Power of Intention, I was like, we can help the global heart. Let's do this on behalf of the global heart. And that's how Global Heart Healing was born. And just to help people understand that the power is in you. It's all inside you. You can get there, even if all you do is get quiet and go quietly into your heart. But we have a lot of tips to help you know how to do that.
Yeah,
So,
and what would you tell some people right now? Because I literally have a friend, for example, that she's experiencing what you told me you used to experience before you went on this journey of, she's having these palpitations, almost like PTSD, but when she goes to the doctor, it's like nothing, and she knows it's mental and emotional because she's going through a very, very stressful time right now in her life, but she doesn't really know what to do. And I was asking her, okay, do you meditate? Do you, like, tell me, what is it that you have started doing on this path to help yourself? Because she has also 2 little girls. So for her right now, that she's also very open, yes, to these kind of things, but she's also quite new. She doesn't really know. What would you recommend for her to do? And also considering maybe she doesn't have a lot of money, so how she can start helping herself more on this journey.
well, the first thing that I would do is invite her to come to Global Heart Healing, to our free conscious content library. If she doesn't want to come to one of our free weekly sessions. So I do Global Heart Healing 2 of the weeks, in English on the 3rd Wednesday and Spanish on the 4th Wednesday. But other people, we have A Course in Miracles. We have Global Intention Meditations. We have Master Heart Sessions of Co-Elevation. All of these are available through Global Heart Healing. But we have a conscious content library that is everything that we have recorded for years. And so if you just want to go and be an observer,
Okay,
but participate.
let's say she doesn't have a lot of time either.
Okay.
So what is
Well, those are
something
basically an hour. So you can also go to Insight Timer. There's lots of beautiful things there. But I would tell you the first thing to know is it's okay to just go quietly to yourself and just put your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath in. Maybe even put your fingertips, the middle finger and your ring finger, them in the middle of your heart, and allow yourself to feel your heartbeat. And for just a moment, think about your heart being your most constant companion. It's there when you wake up. It's there when you go to sleep. It was there before you were a true being. It started beating by the time you were 4 cells of an embryo. It is here to take care of you. It is here to light your path. It wants, in all sincerity, to bring you all of your heart's desire. Because when you get to finding and living in your heart's desire, you are living your true path. You're finding your soul purpose. And it will guide your way. It will guide you. It will help you find exactly what is right for you to find. And you can trust that. When you can't trust anything else or the noise outside, you can trust your heart. Now, if it's too hard to get quiet and feel that, because there's a lot of barriers, then just take a moment and look at your hand. Open your eyes and look at your hand and think about all the blood rushing through, giving you life. And take a moment to be in gratitude. That gratitude shifts our energy faster than anything. When you're in a panic attack, oh, and I have one more. So my daughter started having a panic attack when she was like 5 years old. And I learned this, it was innate. It was crazy that I knew it, but she would get so upset, she would start crying, and then she would start hyperventilating, she would start throwing up. And I had to help her stop that. And so I said, Lainey, blow on my hand, just blow on my hand. Because that gave her a focus, and it gave her something to do, and it gave her a way to change her breathing pattern. And I didn't even know what I was doing. Honest to goodness, that was just a mother's instinct. And it worked every time. So that's a really good thing to do for yourself. Blow on your hand and feel that breeze and just give gratitude for the feeling and keep blowing. I have so many things like that. There's
Yes.
tons of tips and tricks that they work. They work, Our body is here to service.
Yes.
When our body is not in harmony, it's because something's not working for it, and it has to warn you. It has to warn you. And so that's what I figured out from my panic choker and my heart attack symptoms.
And when you say something
Our
it's not in harmony, you mean emotionally. Something is not in harmony, or
nutritionally, or
nutritionally. So
physically,
something that it's happening within
it is
ourselves, and
happening.
it can be many different ways: emotional, nutritional, like how we take care of what we eat, because food is very, very important. No,
Absolutely.
it's
We
the
are holistic
fuel
beings.
that we
Yeah.
put in our temple.
Yeah.
What else are the things that affect and creates these symptoms and these diseases to our body, Joy?
Well, with the background in nutritional holistic nutrition, health and holistic nutrition, I that's still a very big passion of mine. And energetically, we can shift and change a lot, but we also must take care of our body. And there's a lot of misinformation, and there's a lot of foods out there now that are just simply designed to harm us rather than to help us.
Poison.
So we have to become informed. But again, we can listen to our body, because when we start giving it the right things, it will start shifting and you'll start feeling different. Yeah. So I would just say again, you can trust yourself. And the fastest way, I think, when somebody's really in trouble is to just say, okay, what is it I'm feeling? What is it I'm feeling? And if you can find it, then allow it. Pay attention to it. Get the lesson from the blessing or whatever, or both. but allow it. And then for a minute, say, can I pull this out of my body and just put it right here? Just right here. And just look at it. Let's just look at this situation now. So now it's not in your body anymore. You're being objective. And all of a sudden there's a shift just from that, because it's no longer in your body. You have consciously chosen to look at it. And because you've consciously chosen to look at it, you can get what you need out of it. And don't worry, it won't harm you. It's not in your body. You're looking at it. You're in charge. You're in control. You are sovereign. And when you're ready, you can blow it away with a breath of kindness.
To just let it
I
go.
remember that was my, you can do that. You can do this. You can literally I do energetic releases that are electromagnetic. You can do it with just your hand, start below your heart and come up over the top of your head and down the governing meridian. I don't know what I believe. It was something good. So that brings us back to, did you want to do something?
Yes. And I want to just allow you to tune in to see what would also help the audience, those that are listening, to also get a feel of what it is that you do. So, because I know you do multiple things.
I do. Yes. I fell so in love with this, and I've kind of done this all my life. So as I came across things, and I just had this knowing of what was for me and what wasn't. So I didn't spend a lot of time in too many distractions. And I'm certified in hypnotherapy, chakra healing, belief code, body code, emotion code, and a few other things along the way besides muscle testing. I teach a course on intuition and owning your energy, because it's in all of us, you guys. It's just, we've been taught to not trust it. We've been taught to be afraid of it.
But we all have it.
We do have it. And it's not, now there are ways that we can get into an energy that's not serving us. But if we truly listen to our heart, really listen, I don't think that you will ever get into an energetic position that is not serving your highest and best. That's what I believe. So, and heart consciousness, if you don't know about it, study it. You'll learn from that. You'll feel it. When you read about it, you'll feel it. So, and all of that's on both my websites, which you'll probably have all in. But I have Joyful Energy Skills and Global Heart Healing. And I have beautiful, beautiful practitioners that work with me that do some, and Andreea is one of my collaborators. That's, just, it was a natural evolution of our relationship because we did so many things together. So let's just take a moment and we're just going to get very quiet. And on behalf of all the listeners to Spiritual Change Makers and those from Global Heart Healing and just around the entire world who happen to come across this at some time, we're holding your hearts in the palm of our hand. And we're asking divine, universal source energy, Father, Mother, Goddess, God, to join us and bring in balance, peace, and only operate where there is permission within the scope of the sanctity and sovereignty that is sacred to every individual heart on the planet. And in this beautiful space of grace, I will connect to Andreea. I am Andreea. I am Andreea. I am Andreea. I am Joy. No, I am Andreea. A yes holds strong. A no breaks, if you see my hand. And by connecting with Andreea, through her, as surrogate, she will represent all of your listeners. And so I think the simplest thing would be just to ask what we should do. Should we go to the emotion code? Should we go to the body code? On the body code, are we going into something physical? No. Is it emotional? Okay. I'm not going to bring up the whole code charts. So on the emotional, is it on the right? Okay, so actually in the emotion code chart. So then is it a compound trapped emotion? No. And is there, how many things are we going to list? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 3 separate emotions. Okay. Are these heart wall emotions? Okay. Are they just simple trapped emotions? No, we're going to release 3 heart wall emotions. So right now we're going to bring shields of protection up for everyone listening, and especially for Andreea and me. There's a lot of energy around, and you just always want to bring yourself into divine protection, keeping your energy sacred and sovereign, and allowing the communication to come from all the rest of the energy that is asking and willing, ready, and able to receive healing releases. And for those who are not ready, willing, and able, and don't want to, simply just say, I don't want to do that. I'm just listening. Because energy respects that. And that's how that will go. And if at a later date you become ready, willing, and able, we ask for these releases to continue to be available for the moment in time that you are ready. So it is, so we let it be. Okay. So the first one, simple, common heart wall emotion. Yes. Is this in column A, column B, odd, even, 2, 4, 6, pride, shame, shock? Okay, there it is. Shock. Woo, woo, woo. Okay, I'm going to grab my magnets. I have this beautiful little box that my daughter made for me that I have my magnets in. It has 2 hands on it. I don't know if you could see that quickly, but and so I'm just going to take these. These actually magnify our intention when we go below the heart and the assemblage point and over the head by 100,000. So that's why it works, guys. So we found shock. So for everyone who's ready, we're going to release shock. And just take a minute, a second actually, and just see if you notice anywhere in your life where you've noticed shock. And that right there, that's what we're going to release. And you can even take your hands and go with us. With pure intention, we completely release that across all time, space, dimension. That particular shock energy vibration is the one we're releasing right now. Oh, that's definitely. I'm going to take a big drink of water. I recommend anyone else that you do that as well. Yes. Okay. So when you're releasing energy, it's going to take a couple of days to process out of your body. So you may have a little bit of emotional ups and downs. Water is going to help you flush those energies out. So please do that. A little bit of lemonade is great as well. Okay. Is the shock released? Okay. Perfect. Are we ready to move? Okay. So the next one then is in column A, column B. Okay, sorry. So that one is heart wall emotion, but I also felt it low back. So that's root chakra. That's our safety, security, stability. And actually the one we just released, shock, came from the area in the chart that is also root chakra. And there's a whole lot of instability people are feeling. So these are really great. We're bringing good stuff. So
Yes.
let's see what we've got. It's in column A, column B, odd, even, 2, 4, 6. Again, 6. Okay. Pride, shame. Okay. Okay. So I want to make clear here, shame is a very low vibration. And if you feel stuck in shame, you're going to want to move that because it's not serving you and it can really harm your life. But also, you may have absorbed shame. It might not be something you did. It might be something you've become aware of. So just for a minute, feel the shame. And then we're going to let it go. We're going to blow it away with a breath of kindness. So they're definitely heart wall emotions because the releases are coming from the heart. But they may have originally gotten trapped, or they may also just be disrupting because they're strong enough to be disrupting your root chakra, which is a very good thing to balance all of your chakras. Okay, so, and then the third one, wait. Did we in fact release the shame? Okay. And that release is current and immediate for anyone who is ready, willing, and able. And for those who weren't, it will be available later if you ever are. Okay. Last one. We did release. Yes. We released shame and shock. Okay. Next one. Same again, heart. Column A, odd row, row 1, row 3. Crying, disappointment, grief. I'm going to look really quick because right now and I will flash it up here. So I have it in my phone, and that's the simplest way to show it to you guys. As soon as it loads, there we go. So that's what it looks like. And on the left side are the organs and glands that literally give the vibrational frequency to the emotion that we feel. It's pretty amazing. So this comes from lung or colon right there by your heart. So crying, discouragement, rejection, sadness, sorrow. These are beautiful, you guys. I want you to pay attention to all three of those. Shock and shame and sorrow. Those are all very much coming from someone who cares about the world. So feel your heart and thank it because you are a being who cares about the world. That is the gift of humanity. Love is the gift of humanity on planet Earth. We are meant to be here, and we are meant to be here at this time to help humanity and our beautiful Earth come into our own. Ooh, I get some chills there. That's so cool. Okay. Okay, so let's release sorrow. Sorrow is deeper than sadness. So take a minute, feel it, and let's remove it. Okay, that one was much deeper. That one may have been almost an inherited emotion, which is why I did 10 of the releases, because we can actually remove it from our ancestral lineage as well, those who want it. Everything is sacred, so it doesn't happen where no soul wants it, but it's a beautiful thing. Hard to believe. Seems like too much to be true, but I'm living proof. I'm I'm also just living proof of the miracles that I've gotten to experience. My dad had hip surgery, and then he went into sundowners and deep depression, and he didn't walk for 17 days. He was supposed to walk the next day. And he actually felt responsible for the accident that caused his hip to break. And I just learned this. Like I found this in October, and he broke his hip in November. And I was still studying, and I wasn't going to mess with anything while he was in the hospital. And I was just trying to let the doctors do the right thing. And we finally had to put him in a rehab center. And there's a whole lot to it, but I just got this spank awake about 3:00 in the morning, and I was going to wake up at 4 and drive to see him at 6. I mean, get there by 6. It's a 2-hour drive. And I literally got this message very clearly. What's wrong with your father is emotional.
Mm.
It's not physical. They can't help him. Why are you waiting? And I just hit the road. And by that, you guys, I was so new to it that I was definitely afraid to release anything. Like I was so connected to my dad that I started feeling his emotions right away. But I would pull over and stop the car before I released an emotion because I didn't want to do anything that would. And now I can do it, and I'm okay to do that. But
So
by the time I got there,
you did it, and did you ask for his permission, or how does it go here?
I didn't, because I had gotten this very clear thing that I was. It started coming through, and I asked if it was okay. And but I was his. I already had power of attorney, health care. And he was waiting. He wanted me to do it.
Okay.
I just was waiting for the doctors. Anyway, I released 3 emotions on the way there. Guilt was one. But anyway, you guys, I got there. I worked with him within 20 minutes of that, and it only took a few minutes. Like, I released more things later, but within 20 minutes, he worked with the PTs and walked for the first time in 17 days. And I just kept at it, and we got the sundowners to stop, and it just, and then it just, yeah, actually, that was his second hip break had happened after the October 21st, 2017. Now that but he had already had a huge problem, the first one 3 years before. And so that's when I was using the health and nutrition holistic supplement.
Yes.
So
thank you, Joy, and thank you for doing this for everyone, everyone that's going to listen. Trust that you came here in this moment to listen to this episode, because this is something that it is going to support you on your journey to release some of the heart wall emotions. And probably these are the ones, that a lot of people are going to resonate with, the shock, shame, sorrow that you just released for me. So thank you. And for those that might listen to this and might feel skeptical or be like, but how is that gonna work for me? Like, you did it for Andreea. How is that gonna work for me? That is gonna be released for me. What would you tell them?
Well, first I would tell them that they are sovereign, and it will only work for them if they want it to. They have to give permission from their energy body to the energy field to allow that to happen. And second, it happens. Time space is a dimension that is a construct of Earth, but energy is beyond time space dimension. Does that make sense? So when you hear this, it will be the appropriate time for you if you feel that it is right. If you feel it is not right, you can also watch this and not have it release anything. You can say, no, I don't want releases. You're in control. So that's the first thing I would tell you, is you're always in control, and know that. And trust yourself. If you feel like there's a thing that says no, then maybe you're not ready to
Yep.
release that right now. That's totally true. And third, I would say, honestly, I will tell you the truth. I had heard of energy healing for many years. When we were doing Dare to Be Great and I was 13, we were also in a church that was just a beautiful church, but it was very metaphysical church. And there was all kinds of shamans and healers, and I didn't feel good about that back then. And I didn't feel good about that for many years. I didn't find this until I was 57.
Wow.
I'm 65 now. But when I found it, it also was spiritually based. It was actually Christian based. But Christian in the form of spirituality, not in the form of religion. If that's if you understand that construct, more like Christ consciousness. It's everything is vibrational energy, and that is actually the truth of Christ consciousness.
Yeah.
When we start to understand energy, our whole world concept can shift and move, and we become back in control because we're in control of our energy. So, and this is the last thing I'll leave you with, and it's a little bit different. Your people may not, but it was that church taught a concept of the Trinity that I fell in love with, and I wish that it was what everything was based on. God the Father, Mother God, who is the creator of everything that is, was, and ever will be, and in love with us. That's why he created us. Okay. And his son, who he created in his own image, who he sent to earth to show us the power of the God within, which is the Holy Spirit, that we too are capable of doing miracles, and that as such, we must feel responsible for our lives, for we are in control. And so we must take responsibility for our lives.
Yeah.
And that gives you the grace then to understand that you get to choose your work. You get to choose your time spent. You get to choose your abundance. You get to choose when you're in disorder, and you get to watch as that disorder becomes order, because we learn and grow from everything.
Yes, we
It's
do.
all here for us.
That's why we are here, to learn and to grow.
That's why we're here. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
learning
Anyway,
to...
I love that, and everything that I have done, and that's what. So the body code was downloaded from the divine in two different very, very strong almost death experiences for Dr. Nelson, and then the healing after both of those. And then he wanted to become a computer programmer, but he had, when he was very young, said he wanted to be a healer. And his dad actually asked him when he graduated to reconsider. And so he prayed about it, and then he went back into chiropractic, and through the next 17 years, he started learning how to do this and how to teach other people how to do this without touching people.
Yeah.
He learned more and more that you could get further away. He didn't believe in magnets. He didn't believe in muscle testing. And all of that is now part of that. It has grown and evolved, and it's just a magnificent. We are magnificent. You are magnificent. And Andreea, I just want to thank you. And by the way, everyone, Andreea is coming out on my podcast this Thursday.
Yes.
And my podcast is called Global Heart Healing Conversations. You can find it on YouTube, and you'll also be, if Andreea sends it to you, you will also have notification very soon.
Yes, and thank you so much, Joy. Thank you. And thank you to everyone for coming on, for listening, for trusting your yes, trusting your no throughout this conversation. and just believe no matter what came up, what came through for you during this conversation, that it's what you needed in this moment. And it might be something you agreed or something you disagreed. It does not matter as long as it brought you closer to your truth, to who you are. So thank you. Thank you, Joy, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Love you. Mwah.
Mwah.
Thanks for tuning in to Spiritual Changemakers podcast. To stay connected and help us reach more people like you, please subscribe, follow, and leave a comment. Join our community of spiritual changemakers on social media to connect with like-minded individuals and continue the conversation. Remember, the power to create positive change is within you. Keep showing up as your best self, and let's keep the magic of change alive. Until next time.